Well, the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal's elective conference faces a threat of being halted, as I was saying, after a last-minute attempt to get an interdict against it. Those disgruntled members from the party's 4 regions filing the urgent application in the Pietermaritzburg High Court this afternoon. Political analyst Dr. Somadoda Fikeni joins us now on the line to help us make sense of this. Afternoon to you, Dr. Fikeni. So was this always the expected route for KZN?
It was always the expected route, and the signals were always there that some groups were not happy with the composition of the task team and with the work done so far. And as such, it was expected that some would go to the courts. It means that ANC will have to work with those groups in trying to resolve these matters politically, because legal route tend to be long, and it doesn't resolve the underlying political issues.
But politically then, what are the possible measures that the ANC can employ at this stage, now that we're sitting with a situation where 4 regions are in court this afternoon, as delegates on the other side of the province, if that's where it is, are now starting to register for conference?
Well, I do think that ANC leadership would have to reach out to these leaders and indicate that a solution would be sought even after the outcome of the conference has come out, and also the fact that they would be accommodated and their grievances investigated and resolved. Some of them, of course, would not be resolved in time for the conference. The question would be, are these grievances of such nature that they would change the nature of the outcome of the conference? That's where even the legal courts will actually base their decisions.
It's a tricky situation, though, isn't it? Because whatever the outcome, KwaZulu-Natal's ANC members are so polarized that whoever wins this weekend or at a later date would always face questions around the credibility of the vote that elected them.
Certainly, the issue of the integrity of the results is very important, and the issue of resolving the issues of divisions within the ANC, especially when they have led even to political killings in some instances, are critical. That ANC has been losing by-elections in the recent past is indicative of the fact that should they not clean their house, other parties will take advantage of this political space come 2019.
Realistically then, Dr. Fikeni, how much time would the ANC need to clean its house in KwaZulu-Natal, as you're saying, is necessary?
The damage has been taking place over years. It won't take 1 year. It won't take preparations for elections. It just needs a steadfast, conscious, concerted effort to build unity, to do the healing process, and also to understand the pattern and the sources of these divisions. Going back to the Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma's report after the 2014 elections, and there was not much done to deal with those issues which are troubling many members of the ANC. So ANC, it's about time that one day recreate internal democratic platforms and also try to resolve some of these issues, including the gatekeeping.
Who benefits from this political crisis in KwaZulu-Natal?
Opposition parties would benefit if ANC was reduced in that region. Remember, this is the ANC's largest region, and it is also a region that was almost alienated by not featuring in the top 6, precisely because they could not support the candidates coming from the same province, since they were coming from different slates.
So in keeping with Cyril Ramaphosa and the rest of the party's Tumamina message, who does the ANC then send from national level to sort of begin to gather everyone, bring them together and find an amicable solution?
I do think that they will be wise to send leaders from both factions that contested the December election, including the heavyweights such as Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma. They would have to also have conversations with the former President Jacob Zuma, because for as long as he is a role player who could spoil or facilitate this process, he cannot be ignored. But ultimately, preparing for elections next year, ANC will have to do the balancing act of focusing on its internal dynamics, but at the same time not forgetting the broader populace.
How does the ANC then begin to bring Jacob Zuma into these various processes that we're seeing unfold, given the rhetoric that we've heard today outside his court appearance and those previous reports of a planned formation of a political party that would ultimately take on the ANC, but in support of Jacob Zuma?
I do think that they should have, even if it's private negotiations with him, to distance himself from these initiatives and even discourage them, because if they came openly supporting him only to divide the support of the ANC in that province, it would weaken the ANC in that province, and it may drive down the membership of the ANC in that province and ultimately weaken that province influence on national ANC politics.
All right, political analyst Dr. Somadoda Fikeni, thank you for speaking to us this afternoon now.